So, you reckon you've seen it all, huh? Bugs that munch on lake weeds or gadgets can flip tires like they're flipping pancakes? Well, these aren't your run-of-the-mill tools and machines. Buckle up, because you're about to dive into a world of some seriously quirky and awesome machines. They're strong, they're unexpected, and they're about to flip your perception of machines right on its head. Ready for the ride? Ecolog 688F. The forest floor gets a bit of a shake and the trees seem to be whispering, "Who's that?" Then in rolls the Ecolog 688F. It's got 8 massive wheels and doesn't even mess up the moss. From its metal body outstretches this big bendy arm with a huge claw at the end. This beast is made for rough and steep terrain thanks to its swingy arms and a cabin that tilts. It keeps its balance while cruising up and down forest slopes. No tree is too high. Its long crane arm can grab branches from way up there. The claw closes with a soft crunch, easily chopping off thick limbs and moving whole tree trunks. The 688F works like a boss, and the sound of its giant saw echoes around as the tree drops. One by one, the trees are transformed, their branches stripped, trunks cut into pieces that are easy to handle. Soon, they'll be loaded onto the Ecolog's waiting platform, ready to be carted off. The forest just watches in silence, amazed at this machine's power. There's a change in the air. It's coming, and it's a bit scary. Easy Gripper. I've never seen anything like it. That forklift is handling those giant mining tires like they're toys. Looks like it's got some kind of robotic claw attached to it. That's an aim gripper. The operator just taps the remote and the arms close around the tire like it weighs nothing. A quick twist and it's flipping that monster onto the trailer. And look, it tilts too for perfect alignment. Apparently, those big things can handle tires up to 85 inches across and lift almost 2 tons without breaking a sweat. They can fit on all sorts of loaders and even cranes. I hear tire warehouses love them. Saves on workers and cuts down on injuries. And with that camera system, it looks like one person could unload a whole truck in no time. Those miners sure save a lot of hassle with it too, changing tires on their gigantic trucks way out in the field. Argiles AFH T4. Now that's a sight I've never thought I'd see. Back in the days, melon harvest meant a crew of folks stooped over till their backs ached, lugging those heavy things to the truck. This contraption's like something out of the future. Looks like a giant lumbering bug with conveyor belts for legs. Must be one of those Argiles AFH T4s I heard about. Seems like it's just gobbling those melons right up off the ground. Must have some fancy sensor to find them under the leaves. Driver hardly needs to steer. Things churn all by itself. Probably powered by one of those big diesel engines, judging by the sound. The way it dumps those melons straight into bins saves a mountain of labor. They say it can cover a whole field in a day, even with those wide roads for the vines. Perfect for those big melon operations out west, and I bet it works just as well for watermelons and pumpkins too. Terragator. You see that big old thing over there? That's a Terragator. The top of the line when it comes to field sprayers. See that huge tank? Holds up to 2,400 gallons on some models. Means less refilling and more time covering your fields, and those booms stretch out wide, so you can hit a lot of acres fast. Now it might look heavy, but that powerful engine and specialized tires make it float over the ground. No compacting your soil like some of them smaller sprayers. And with this computerized system, it practically drives itself. GPS tracking, variable rate control, you name it. This thing's got it. We can put down fertilizer, pesticides, whatever you need. Gives you that perfect, even coverage, saving you product and helping the crop really thrive. You wouldn't believe how comfortable this cab is too. Long days in the field are no problem. Kress Slag Pot Carrier. Alright, let's talk about the Kress Slag Pot Carrier. Think of it as a heavy-duty truck designed specifically for handling molten slag, a leftover material from steel production that's basically liquid fire. Safety is paramount here, so these carriers are built tough. Imagine a giant ladle with extra thick, insulated steel walls to keep that heat contained. They typically carry around 75 to 80 tons of slag, and the pot itself can tilt and rotate to pour it out precisely where it needs to go. These Kress carriers are real workhorses. They're built to navigate the rough terrain of steel mills and foundries. Powerful engines and rugged suspension keep them stable, and they even have special fire suppression systems in case of any accidents. You won't see them speeding around. Safety comes first, but they can handle moving around a plant site efficiently. Center pivoting irrigation. Imagine transforming a dry, dusty field into a lush green oasis. That's what the Nelson Center Pivot Irrigation System is designed to do. This impressive system is the backbone of efficient watering across large agricultural operations. Its central point, the pivot, anchors a long metal arm that rotates in a giant circle. Along this arm are sprinklers specially designed for even water distribution. From gentle rain-like drops to powerful sprays, Nelson offers options to suit any crop and terrain. What's unique is how customizable these systems are. They can span hundreds of feet, even adapting to different field shapes. Farmers can program the center pivot to adjust water flow in specific zones for precision irrigation, minimizing waste. Nelson even offers advanced controls that use sensors and weather data to optimize watering schedules. Schrade Tommahawk. What an axe! This is the Schrade Tommahawk, a survivalist dream tool. It's not just an axe, though it chops wood like nobody's business. See that sharp 3.3-inch blade? Perfect for clearing brush, making kindling, or even battening some firewood for a quick camp stove. But that's not all. Flip it over and you've got a pointed spike for hammering tent stakes or breaking through tough ground. Now the weight is key here. At just over 1.5 pounds, it's light enough to carry on your backpack all day without feeling like a burden, yet it feels substantial in your hand, delivering real power with each swing. The handle is wrapped in paracord. Extra cord never hurts on an adventure, and it gives you a nice, secure grip. Waterbug. So, my lakefront's been getting swamped by weeds. Let's take a look at this Waterbug weed harvester. Looks like a remote-controlled boat with some powerful tools. The cool thing is it's battery-powered, so no noisy engine or messy fuel. It's pretty compact too, about the size of a small kayak, perfect for maneuvering around docks, tight spots, and even shallow water. The Waterbug uses a conveyor system to gather weeds and debris right under the deck. Looks like it can hold up to 600 pounds at a time before needing to unload at the shoreline. It can be fitted with a 3-foot wide sickle cutter too, which makes easy work of those tough, submerged weeds. This neat feature is the harvesting camera. It gives you a live view of what the Waterbug sees on the wireless remote, making it a breeze to target the weeds precisely, and that 1,000-foot range means you can operate it from the shore. No need to get out on the water yourself. Seems like maintaining your waterfront property just got a whole lot easier. Drape Net. This Drape Net stuff is way lighter than the old hail tarps we used to mess with. Comes in a big roll, easy to handle for just a couple of us. The net itself is kind of floppy, woven plastic, which is the whole point of the design. Instead of trying to stop every little hailstone, it flexes with the impact and spreads out the force. Means less damage to the crop. We toss the Drape Net right over the top of the trees like a giant blanket. No need to build frames or tie it down tight. The trees themselves hold it in place. With just a bit of anchoring at the edges, it breathes too. Air and some sunlight get through, which is way better for the fruit. These rolls cover a lot of ground, so setup is actually faster than you think, especially with the machines they have nowadays. They even make them in different colors depending on the crop. White for apples, black for cherries, all sorts of options. Seems like a no-brainer for protecting the orchard from storms. Ploeger MKC 4TR. Alright, first time behind the controls of this beast? The Ploeger MKC 4TR. You wouldn't believe how comfortable this cab is. More like a luxury car than a farm machine. Got all the bells and whistles, GPS, touchscreen controls, heck, even a backup camera since that whole conveyor system can stick way out behind you. Those big tracks make it feel like driving a tank, but way smoother. No ruts, no bouncing around in the field. And for harvesting leafy greens like spinach or lettuce, it's perfect. Wide stance for those delicate rows, powerful engine for hauling the product, and gentle conveyor belts to avoid bruising. The cutting head's the real star of the show. It's got these spinning knives and adjustable height control so you can set it perfect for whatever you're harvesting. Can even cut leafy greens at ground level to get the whole plant. Way faster than those old harvest crews and way cleaner too. Just line up on the row, hit the autopilot, and watch those bins fill up. Fendt Tigo 50PR. So this Fendt Tigo 50PR looks a bit more complicated than your average trailer. First, gotta make sure you've got a tractor with the right PTO hookup. This thing needs some power, especially when loading. The hydraulics are pretty straightforward. Hoses color-coded to match the tractor, easy as pie. Now, this flexible front wall is pretty cool. It can fold forward for extra capacity when loading grass, then flatten back out when transporting. Means we get the most out of each haul. The whole thing has a nice heavy-duty build, which I like. Wide tires for less compaction on the field too. I hear the smaller models work for smaller livestock operations, but the 50PR is the way to go for big jobs. Looks like we got electric controls to manage the floor conveyor and loading speed. Gotta brush up on all these buttons, but Fendt's usually pretty intuitive with their layouts. And with that loading sensor, the Tigo can adjust things on the fly. That should make for faster work. Once I get the hang of these controls, this setup will definitely streamline things around here. Whoa, that was a wild ride through some seriously cool machines. Big thanks for joining me on this adventure. If you love these as much as I do, smash that like button and let me know in the comments which machine was your favorite. And to keep exploring the awesome world of tools, be sure to subscribe.